Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of Hobby Think Tank. I am Danny, and arbitrarily, I decided to start talking. How are you, Mike?
I'm glad you did because I was just going to stare at the screen until you did.
That was my plan up until the red light went on, and then I decided somebody should talk. So I do that. I
Yeah,
do that
thank you.
annoyingly often. So I figured it was my turn. Um, what's going on in your hobby world?
In my hobby world, I was actually just looking at the new Bowman Chrome spotlights, which are this new 2023, I guess. I hadn't seen these before. They are awesome.
I haven't
And
seen it.
yeah, I hadn't until 10 minutes before I got on here. And in the baseball cards Reddit site, which I just got sucked back into Reddit after a decade away, because only that one subreddit, uh, somebody posted those, and the numbered ones are really, really cool. Colorful, neat design. I like it.
Do they have Miguel Cabrera?
No, because I think they're only rookies. I
It's
think that
only
point is this they have the spotlight over them showing, hey,
ah,
here's the rookies. I think that's my
like
I
like a
spent about a minute and a half researching it. So
like a halo effect.
yeah, kind of.
Well, you know the reason I asked about Miguel Cabrera. He has
Oh,
500 home runs, doesn't he?
yes, he does.
He does. Uh, the only active player right now, correct? With the retirement of Pujols,
Yep, I think
I
you're
feel
right.
I feel old not knowing, I feel like questioning this, but I think we're down to him.
Yes.
How many Miguel Cabrera cards do you have?
Oh, not a ton. It's certainly no really good ones.
Do you
I don't,
really have any?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, base cards. Like I have some base, some small inserts, nothing really good. I don't even think I
Oh,
have his rookie card.
yeah. I have no Miguel Cabrera. I also have very few people in the 500 home run club.
Really? That's interesting. Nelson Cruz, by the way, is the next up. If he can get, I think about 40 more, which I don't think is going to happen.
Only because he's 63.
Yeah.
He was literally a general manager in the World Baseball Classic. That's never a good sign for a future
Yeah.
for 40 more home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Uh,
the universal DH, might give him a chance.
Giancarlo Stanton, by the way, might make it.
He's got a long way to go. Well, the point of the
Yeah.
show today is, do guys in the 500 home run club hold value? And basically, we're talking about the best power hitters of all time. I mean, that's a short way to create that list without getting into advanced statistics and everything else. So that's kind of our arbitrary system. Agreed?
I agree. We should also discuss whether we are including steroid tainted guys who also overlap with the junk wax era. So they're naturally not going to hold much value for the most part.
Well, let's talk about whether or not it's the player or the junk wax or the steroids, because I think there's different.
Combination of all of them.
I think different answers for different players. So,
Yep.
all right. So I guess let's just randomly start. Let's start at the bottom and work our way out,
Sure.
because whoever wants to start with Barry Bonds.
Nobody does.
Um, okay, so Miguel Cabrera,
Oh,
five.
hang on. What about Eddie Murray?
Oh, Miguel Cabrera has passed him. I'm on the MLB list. I apologize.
Okay.
You are correct. Well, Eddie Murray. We can
Eddie
use that
Murray,
as
504 home runs.
perfect example. Rookie card got
Valuable.
got some value. After that,
Junk wax.
not even. He's got
Eh,
second, third, fourth year.
yeah.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. No, there's no value to any of those cards.
And
But
as a lifelong Oriole fan,
yeah,
there's not another card of Eddie I even really want, except maybe an autographed insert from, you know, more
Yeah.
recent years.
The thing in Eddie Murray's corner is that he played in Baltimore for 712 years. So that tends to help a player when they play in the same city. But the thing against him is that he played in Baltimore.
So did Frank Robinson. We'll get to him later.
Yep.
Yep. So I would own an Eddie Murray rookie card if we're talking, you know, value. But otherwise, he's somebody I don't see a ton of value. And you're right. Later in his career, moves into junk wax and in his veteran years.
Yep.
But not a steroid guy.
One of my childhood collection, the pride of my childhood collection, was my Eddie Murray rookie card, and I was probably 7 when I somehow obtained it. I have no idea how, and I started writing my name on the bottom of it, and I got the M on there, and my dad saw, and he was like, "No!" So there was an M on it, and I tried erasing it, but you could still see the M.
Was that your first TTM? Sent it to yourself, you know?
That was a lesson in how to take good care of valuable cards.
Right, or how to alter them, and you learned young. Yeah. Okay, so am I correct now that Miguel Cabrera is the next one?
Miguel Cabrera is next. Yeah.
Okay.
And what was he a rookie in 2001?
1847.
Must have been. Yeah. He debuted in 2003.
Yes.
So
we both agree no steroids.
Right.
Not junk wax.
It's junk wax-ish.
Ish. Well, he's had a long career, so.
There weren't really any valuable cards, baseball cards, in the 2003 Topps set, for instance, right?
For most of his career, you're right. There was probably not.
Pretty mass-produced.
Certain players overcome that. He did not.
Yeah. But I think he holds some value because he played in Detroit for many, many years. They won World Series. He won the Triple Crown. He won some MVPs. He beat Mike Trout for MVP.
So twice. Is it because it's Detroit and Miami?
There's value later in his career when cards became numbered. People love seeing Miguel Cabrera numbered cards, autographed cards, but it's not.
Who are these people? Yeah. I have not met these people.
Wait, do you want to sell them some cards?
I can move the Miguel Cabreras I don't own.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have not seen a market for Miguel Cabrera, but I'll take your word.
Especially.
Well, that's your area of specialty, so I'll trust you there. Okay, so let's see if my incorrect list has the next correct one. Gary Sheffield.
That's right. 509 home runs, 89 Donruss.
I got to admit, I forgot he hit 500 home runs.
Yeah, such a great power hitter. Probably should be in the Hall of Fame.
Did you think of him as a power hitter when he played? Did you think?
Oh, yeah.
What you thought of him that same I don't know, breath as McGuire or other guys of his time?
No, but Sheffield did it longer. Sheffield was fearsome. I think pitchers feared him. He hit more line drives than he did bombs.
Yes.
And he had the bat wiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I never thought of him as obviously he hit 500 home runs, but I always thought of him as more of a spray line drive gap power hitter.
Yeah.
But you said his rookie, well, that's the one with the braces, right?
Yep. 89 Topps was 89. Yeah. There was also an 89 Donruss, I think. I said 89 Donruss initially.
Am I correct? It was his initials on the braces. Was there something?
There was something, yeah. 1989 Topps, Gary Sheffield.
For all of the people who think that there's no brain cells left.
I think Topps, did they airbrush something out of his I don't remember. It's too small for me to.
I'm not going to
Yeah,
look it up, but
there's.
if somebody puts it in the comments. Tell us about Gary Sheffield's braces.
Yeah, I've got it zoomed in. I can't tell.
Yeah.
It's gold or something.
If we have any orthodontists who are also baseball card fans, please let us know. Okay. But how much value is even in Gary Sheffield rookie card? I mean, he's got almost no value for his whole career.
It's a couple dollars, $1 maybe. Yeah, he was a
Right.
rated rookie. They're rated rookie collectors. He's a 500 home run guy. So you might pay a couple dollars for an 89 Donruss Gary Sheffield, but there are 700 billion Gary Sheffield 89 Donruss cards, approximately.
No, I think that's the PSA pop number actually. Next on the list, Mel Ott, and
Yeah.
I believe he to be underrated, sir.
Oh, absolutely. But we're also talking about a guy who played a century ago. And I think, and I have this theory, which by saying that makes it sound way more important than it really is, or way more smart than it really is. But I think that where Mel Ott is one of the all-time greats, as eras go farther and farther away, only the most famous players from those eras, and I don't mean the best, the most famous players from those eras really continue to mature in value with their cards because the stories live on. And there's no, what story do you have about Mel Ott? I know somebody's going to comment a story about Mel Ott. It's fine. Babe Ruth, Shoeless Joe Jackson, Lou Gehrig. These guys have stories that pass on from generation to generation.
Mel Ott, getting back to baseball card value, because of what you just said, I think does not carry the weight he should.
Exactly.
And this is, and it's surprising because as a baseball card collector, don't we usually think power hitters are the value? You know, the greats, the sluggers, the Paul Bunyans. And as we go through this list, we'll see where we go as we go up the list. But it's interesting.
He led the league in home runs 5 times. He was an MVP candidate a dozen or so times. But think about Mike Trout. Will people talk about Mike Trout a century from now? He's boring.
Mel Ott was 5'9".
That was average. That was tall for back then.
That was tall back then.
Go to Fenway Park.
The Aaron Judge in his clubhouse.
Yes, exactly. Go to Fenway Park, which was built in 1912, and it was built for people of that era. I'm 6'2". I'm a big guy. I'm 230, and even when I was 180 pounds in college, I didn't fit in those seats.
They
are
Fenway.
Yeah, that's the era that people were smaller. They ate less.
Wouldn't that be great if you could buy jeans based upon the size of your tush named after baseball stadiums? I'd like a pair of blue jeans in a Fenway, please. Or I'd like a pair of blue jeans in a modern stadium, maybe skybox seating.
Green Monster.
Right, exactly. Okay, so Mel Ott, we both agree we like, underrated, not respected.
Yep.
Can we continue on? And I'm going to say ditto that on Eddie Matthews, maybe the second greatest third baseman of all time? Third greatest?
Yeah, that sounds right to me. I would not argue against that. Eddie Matthews was fantastic. But what are the stories that people are telling about Eddie Matthews?
Here's my 57 Eddie Matthews.
There you go.
That is by coincidence.
How much? What's the value of that? Because his rookie is in 52 tops.
Yeah, I mean, $40, $30.
Okay, that's not bad.
But a lot of a good condition common can run near that.
But he played in Milwaukee for most of his career too. You're not talking about Mickey Mantle.
You're blaming a lot of this on cities. So
absolutely.
So is your whole theory that if they don't play in New York, nothing else matters?
Or Boston?
Oh gosh. All right, next on the list, Ernie Banks. Now,
yeah, Chicago is another city Chicago, LA, the big cities. Ernie Banks Holds
Ernie
value.
Banks carries value.
But why is that?
I think he was likable. I
Yep.
think his cards came out in the heyday of the vintage era where he overlapped in the, with Topps production. He was always a Topps guy, I believe. And his value does carry on, especially in good condition, for a lot of his career.
Yeah, I mean, his rookie's 54, of course. And so you've got 6 years there in the 50s where there's more value because there's not as many of them. He played in Chicago his entire career. He famously smiles in all of his cards, which is, either you look tough in your cards or you smile.
It's
But in
endearing.
between, it's less less attractive of a card. And let's play two. He's well known nationally, and those stories will carry over.
So he keeps value. Is he the first one that we feel comfortable saying?
Yeah, I think so. And the next one we will too.
Well, yeah. In fact, there's a tie for the next two. And
oh, you're right.
Yeah, Ted Williams and Willie McCovey at 521.
Yeah, and Frank Thomas, all 21.
Yes. So here's my theory. Ted Williams was pretty good at baseball.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Maybe the greatest player ever.
Well, certainly he was a qualified hitter.
Yeah, maybe the greatest hitter ever.
Yeah.
I would say Willie Mays the best player ever.
Or Babe Ruth.
Sure.
But he carries value.
He does.
Without a doubt, his whole career. Maybe more so than almost anybody on this list, with the exception of the couple at the top.
Yeah, I think if Nolan Ryan had started his career around the time of Ted Williams, he would be close there too. Ted Williams, a lot of Ted Williams player collectors out there.
Well, there's a John Wayne-esque legend to Ted Williams that I think carries on with a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's also in the Fishing Hall of Fame, which is just fantastic.
Yep.
So,
but Maine guy used to come up and fish in Maine. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so that's an easy one. Ted Williams, we can put as value. Willie McCovey, I think we're back to rookie and then no value.
Yep.
And low value as a rookie, probably.
I think what's 1960?
Roughly.
His rookie is plenty of value.
But compared to other guys, do you really?
No,
I'll give you some rookie value, but I guess not as much when I think about the guys we just talked about. I mean, you think about an Ernie Banks, whose rookie year is only a couple years before.
Yeah.
No, you don't agree.
Well, we'll get to Yaz, who has his rookie card in the same year as McCovey.
Okay, Frank Thomas. We're going to write him off to junk wax?
Junk wax.
Sadly.
Yep.
Because he was Chicago. I mean, that should go to the rule.
Yeah. But, when your rookie card's in 1990, which I've got one of them signed right there, not the one I want to have signed, but someday I'll get the Topps one signed.
You don't want the 90 Leaf?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that one holds the most value of all of them, but I want Topps.
Yes. I wish Frank Thomas had value. I think he was a tremendous player. I think he was clean. I think he was on base before on base was cool, and a guy his size to be willing to do that. I just thought he was awesome. He was one of my favorite players. But I mean, literally zero value.
Yep.
All right, you want to take the next one?
Yes, the next one would be Jimmy Fox, who suffers from the same fate as another one that we just talked about, which is that he played a century ago, and there just aren't that many stories. He also played in 2 different cities. His career is pretty well split between Philadelphia and Boston.
Not a lot of cards.
Right. But even when there are some cards, just not nobody there. Certainly, there are some people clamoring for Jimmy Fox cards, but they don't hold the same value as other guys from that era who were more famous. And Jimmy Fox, also one of the all-time greats.
I think the fact that he was converted from a catcher to a first baseman took
So
some.
would he?
Yeah, I mean, if he would have been Johnny Bench or Yogi Berra, there might have been, I think, more, as you say, more of a story there.
Yeah, that's fair. One of the all-time great catchers versus
There's a lot of first basemen.
Yeah. But you don't know if he would have been able to be that good if he had stayed as a catcher.
I do, because he's from Maryland, so he would have been fine.
Yeah.
All right. So, but I will say Jimmy Fox compared to a Frank Thomas, not even close. And I think what we're going to prove is vintage is a lot of this.
Yeah, the next one really, well, it
Go for
semi
it.
proves it out. It's Mantle. It's the number one post-war player for hobbyists.
Why? Answer this question.
The most famous of his era, the most popular of his era. He won at 20 All-Stars, 20 All-Star games. Obviously, he was in the Hall of Fame. He was a great fielder until that. He was also a great runner. He's a great hitter. The running and the fielding declined a little bit after the knee problem. He was a great batter, hitter, hit for average, hit for power. Everything was great about Mickey Mantle, and he played for the New York Yankees. He won 7 World Series.
He played at the same time as Mays, Clemente, Aaron. He overlapped with Ted Williams. I mean, I just don't. And he's in a different stratosphere. It's not even close.
It's the
if Mickey
media.
Mantle,
it's New York media bias.
His cards would still be worth money on his 84th season.
Yeah, it's the fame, it's the popularity, it's the smile. He was a good-looking dude, and everybody idolized Mickey Mantle. And the collectors who were kids in the 50s and 60s. And he was deeply flawed.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all are, but I would love for people to put in the comments why Mickey Mantle is here compared to, the rest of small hall guys. The gap seems to be disproportionate to the talent.
Yeah, he played through a lot of pain. People love that. I mean, Johnny Damon in Boston played through a lot of pain, and we loved that. That's just a very popular thing to do, and Mantle did it for years.
Cal Ripken played through a lot of pain every day.
Shouldn't have.
Oh, don't go load management on me.
Well,
okay. We're after that. That hurts.
Who's next?
It's no fun after Mickey Mantle.
Well, it's my guy David Ortiz.
I know. I'm going to let you take it because it's no fun after Mickey Mantle.
Well, with Ortiz, he played for Boston his whole career. Okay, sure, Minnesota, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big plus for him. His rookie cards are worth I would argue, too much money. I want one of them and find them to be too pricey. But he's tainted by steroids.
Yep.
Obviously, as we all. You were going to say it. You didn't think I would say it.
I'm proud of you for saying
it. Most clutch hitter in baseball history, perhaps.
No, but I'll say of his time, as clutch as anyone.
Okay.
I mean, he had a little additional help.
Yeah,
a little extra confidence, perhaps.
Yeah, there's certainly some argument there. And some Red Sox fans are going to get mad in the comments, which is okay. We know. So Ortiz, but he also played in the tail end of the junk wax era. So after his rookie card, there's just not much value there. But there are a lot of Ortiz player collectors because he's one of the all-time Red Sox greats.
So how many of the guys are we talking about that have more value in autograph inserts now than they do in anything else? And what does that say? It says that the collectors like the player, they don't like the cards that were made for the players.
Well, not necessarily they don't like the cards. It's that those cards are plentiful.
Well, fair enough. They don't want to collect them because there are too many of them.
Yeah.
Or
that they don't have the value because there are too many of them.
Either way, but it is interesting that the inserts have shown a lot of value.
Absolutely.
Because I know we'll get comments in the comments section about that. All right. Mike Schmidt.
Yeah, one of the most popular guys. I don't think cards after his rookie card is very valuable. After that, not much.
A whole career in Philly, though. It should be.
You're right. It kind of goes against my argument. He's in a big city. Stayed there.
His rookie's what, 74?
73.
73? It's the multiplayer.
Yeah, which is terrible. I hate multiplayer cards.
But there's a great hobby think tank on multiplayer cards, which you can find on YouTube.
Nice cross promotion. Well, it's not even a cross promotion. His 74 has some value because it's his first solo card.
Yes.
But
similar to Johnny Bench. But after that.
Yeah, after that you get into 75 and there's a bunch of Hall of Famers that are rookies in 75
and it falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
I mean, now, do you think that the Brett, the Young, all those guys affected Schmidt's price?
Well, I think when you think about 1975 tops, do you think about Mike Schmidt?
Well, no, I think about everybody else I named.
Right. And then you've got Jim Rice, who was in a multiplayer card in 75, and who's the other Hall of Fame rookie who's in a multiplayer card in 75?
Well, there's Fred Lynn, who I know you love.
Yeah. I was going to say Fred Lynn, but he wasn't a Hall of Famer.
No, but he was also an Oriole.
He was a Red Sox.
That was the quickest answer you've ever had. Yeah. Okay, so Mike Schmidt, neither one of us understand.
Yeah, it kind of goes against everything I've argued here.
Yeah.
Which is like, we're going to ignore that.
Okay. Can we just skip Manny Ramirez and say nobody likes him? His cards are not worth anything.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite players when he was playing, and now I hate him.
I have no interest in collecting him at all. Maybe I'm wrong. Please, if you're a Manny Ramirez collector, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to meet you.
Yeah.
But short of that, we can move past that. No value, no interest.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're hitting one of the ones that I brought up off air as one of the examples of how are their cards not worth more early in the career specifically.
Baltimore's finest.
For 1 year. Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, and my friend James, I'll have to get him to watch this. I'll tell him to start at 29 minutes because he argues that every Reggie Jackson card should be worth millions of dollars. He was a huge Reggie fan when he was younger. James is significantly older than me, obviously. He was a New York guy. He lived in New York at that time when Reggie was in New York. Reggie has stories behind him. So he was the straw. Yep. This also goes against my argument of stories because Reggie won a bunch of World Series, 5 of them to be exact. He hit like 12 home runs in a game in the World Series. Don't comment and say I'm an idiot. I know he hit a bunch in one game, 3 in one game. He won an MVP, 2 World Series MVPs, but his cards don't hold value after his rookie card.
No.
And I think his what's that? Is it the 70 tops that has a really weird pose where he's kind of winding up to throw?
Yeah. Yes.
Who
Do
wants
you,
that card?
do you think his personality turned people off?
I don't think his personality did. I think that some people may have felt that he was overrated because he struck out a lot before striking out was accepted as a power hitter strikes out a lot.
Yeah. So if he played today, his cards would be worth more money. I believe that.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'd be he had a low batting average for his entire career. He batted like 260 something for his career, which was considered low. His on base percentage was pretty good. So
Yeah.
I think he'd be higher valued today.
Oh, without a doubt. Because the stats are looked at differently.
Yep.
All right. Let's fast forward so we can get through some of these.
Yeah.
Can we put Rafael Palmeiro on the Manny Ramirez list?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Harmon Killebrew.
I mean, what do you even say about Harmon Killebrew? He played in Minneapolis his entire career.
He follows all your rules. Small town, no story.
And Washington, I know.
But Minnesota, it's a shame, but no, not a ton of value in any of his cards. Relative
Yeah.
to the other town.
His rookie card is in 55 tops, and it's maybe the 8th most valuable 55 tops card.
Yeah. Mark McGwire.
Yeah, his Team USA card in 85 tops is pretty popular.
Still holds value, and he did not play in a big city. He played for multiple teams. He was a steroid guy, and his rookie card still holds more value than half the guys we talked about on this list.
Yeah, even his 87 tops card, I think mostly due to nostalgia because there are a billion of them out there. But guys like me who were 8 years old in 1987 look at that card and say, "Oh yeah, that was the card we all wanted in 1987, and we want it now."
So does he get a nostalgia pass? I mean, is that
he gets the nostalgia bump?
The nostalgia bump. All right, sounds like something you go to the doctor for, but sure. Okay, once again though, I would say rookie card or rookie cards. However you want to look at that Team USA. XRC, or we can have that as another show. But the rookie cards, not a ton of other value until you get into later autograph inserts and stuff like that.
Yep.
So for junk wax, though, surprisingly high.
Yep.
Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson's another one of those guys, and there are stories about Frank Robinson, and he went on to become a manager.
Triple Crown winner, traded at 30. Yeah.
Won some World Series, won some MVPs. But after 57, there's not a ton of value in his cards.
And I think he's one of the most underrated card players of all time.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's a little puzzling to me. Maybe, if he had stayed in Cincinnati, if he had been part of the Big Red Machine at the end of his career, maybe that would have helped him. But he went to Baltimore,
where he won a Triple Crown,
where he had his best season, one of the greatest seasons in baseball history.
Yeah. 2 World Series, 2 World Series victories, 4 World Series altogether. Yeah. Okay, you want to take a run because I think we can group a couple of the next ones together.
Yeah. So next up would be Sosa and Tomei. Let's just do the two of those. Same thing. Junk wax, early 90s, right in the prime of the junk wax. Both of them have some later on autograph value, but not a ton.
And I would say Tomei's liked better.
Tommy is, but he was kind of boring. There was nothing exciting. There's no Jim Thome stories except for the fact that he hit 500-foot bombs, which is cool. Sosa though would be if he hadn't taken steroids, he never would have become as famous as he did. But if he had become as famous as he did without the steroids, there would be a lot of value in his cards.
If he kept his original face, would there be more value?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're into the top 7. Let's move on to Griffey. What?
You're moving right off Sosa's face. Okay. Griffey, I think in hindsight, his stuff will carry value. I think all we need is time to get away from Griffey.
Yeah, his 89 stuff is great.
His 89 card is one of the most produced ever, the most graded card of all time, and a 10 still pulls a fortune.
Yeah, and the 10 with a 10 auto is many thousands of dollars. Even if you take his 1990 Donruss Diamond Kings Upper Deck card, second year,
beautiful.
Throw an autograph on that card. It has insane value because it's so rare, and it's in high demand among autograph collectors, which is me, and Diamond King autograph collectors, which is also me. There are a lot of people who want that card, and there are so few of them in existence.
I will try to get that card autographed the next time he's at a show.
And then you'll gouge me.
No, I'm going to keep it. Okay, so we both like Griffey. We think there's going to be some value that'll hold much better than contemporaries.
Yeah.
All right, Willie Mays. Can we put him in the Clemente era of success and value? Under Mantle, but still very strong.
Absolutely. For me, Willie Mays, the greatest baseball player of all time. He, his rookie, he's an early 50s guy, so he's got the entire 50s decade, plus of course the 60s, and all of those cards carry value. There were stories about him.
The stories were how much he could do. But that was it.
There's also the video too of the catch.
Vic Wertz, 1954 World Series.
Right there, and aren't a lot of.
That's his moment. That's his story.
Now, would he be as famous if that video didn't exist today?
And before somebody writes in the chat, it's film.
It's that you can see that.
Yes,
thousands of documents all over the internet. It's everywhere, and that carries on that Willie Mays legacy.
It's a great point. So we'll put Mays maybe under Mantle and tied with Ted Williams maybe in this list.
I would put him above Williams and a little behind Mantle.
Okay. I'm impressed you're putting him in front of Williams.
Yeah. Williams was a bigger jerk.
Fair enough. All right. You want to knock out the next two?
A-Rod, steroids, double whammy. He's maybe the most disliked baseball player of his era. One of the all-time greats. Didn't need to take steroids. Still would have hit 500 plus home runs. Would have gone to the Hall of Fame.
Somehow I like him less after his career.
Yes, I was just going to say, how can you have such a widely disliked career personality and then go into broadcasting afterwards? And I guess Joe Morgan was one guy who was one of the all-time greats at second base.
Yeah.
Just terrible as a broadcaster. Tim McCarver, too, who wasn't a good baseball player.
I met Joe Morgan. He was a mean human being.
Yeah, I've heard the stories.
Yes. That was a first-hand account, so I can say it.
Yeah. I actually just pulled this A-Rod out of a crappy sleeve. A-Rod rookie. I think it's his rookie. Put him the wrong way. 94. It was in a fake slab, some fake company I'd never heard of before. And somebody gave it to me. So I was like, well, I want the card. I just don't want it in this slab.
I'm sorry. Some 90s baseball cards are good looking.
Yeah. I love him. Fleer 94.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it, but I think it's his rookie card.
Okay.
Pujols.
Yeah. Vanilla.
I think Pujols ended his career in a way that will make him more collectible.
Really?
Look at what he did last year.
You
Hit
think that
20
one year is going to erase the entire Angels part of his career?
I think it did a lot. It put him over 700 home runs, which puts him in the top 4 of all time. And that 700 is the next layer, right? And he hit so many home runs in such a short period of time at the age of whatever, 52. And somebody watching this is going to believe that I think all these ridiculous things I'm saying.
Right.
Well,
He does.
I'm talking about the numbers. I exaggerate on numbers. The rest of it, I believe. I think that will add a lot of collectors to the Pujols collector base.
I think St. Louis is a loyal town, so I think there's always going to be a St. Louis market for him. I don't think he's going to carry value. I mean, the rookie card, I'm sure, will always have something, but I don't think there's enough panache.
Oh, the panache meter is too low for you.
I definitely need to add panache.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going over here.
Way over.
But we're on the good ones now.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 anyway.
Yeah.
Should we just say Babe Ruth does not have enough cards, and any cards he has are going to be worth a lot of money?
Yeah, and even if he had more cards, they would carry value because Babe Ruth will always be famous, maybe the most famous baseball player of all time.
Maybe the most famous American athlete.
Yeah, true. The stories about Babe, even if only half of them are true, are crazy. And like Mickey Mantle, was a deeply flawed man, and people like their baseball players to be flawed. They want to see the warts and all, and see he was like me. He was a flawed person and an amazing athlete. Well, like me, and then he's flawed. and
I heard he was humble too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So Babe, from 1914 News American through 33 Gaudy, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some regional stuff. Everything's worth money. So, yeah. All right, that's an easy one, which moves us into another easy one.
Hank Aaron. Very easy.
Carries value. Not as much as it should. I'm going to say not as much as it should.
Yeah, that's fair. But his cards, especially in the 50s and 60s, are very valuable. And there are plenty of player collectors out there that want more Hank Aaron cards.
He had a very long career.
Yep.
And so some of his 16th, 17th, 18th season, probably rightfully so, don't carry the value they should.
Yeah. Pop quiz. How many All-Star games did he get voted to?
19?
25.
That's not correct.
Baseball Reference says 25-time All-Star, but he only played for 23 seasons.
Yeah. No, that's not correct.
So,
well, there was multiple All-Star games in some years. So they used to have an All-Star game mid-season and postseason.
Yes.
So that explained the multiple All-Star games, not the multiple All-Star years.
That is right. I don't know, man. That's weird. Anyway, so Willie Mays, we agree, tons of value.
Hank Aaron, we agree.
Yeah, sorry.
Which leaves us with the 800-pound head of Barry Bonds.
Yep. Bonds, if you take those steroids away, it's the greatest. Yeah, I have that. I do not have it up behind me anymore, but I've got a handful of those. No value in his cards.
Nope. Should there?
Not even his rookie cards, really. Even that 86 doesn't carry much value.
Only the Tiffany. or Desert Storm, but that's because of scarcity, not because of the player.
Yeah, the Desert Storm. Everybody's valuable in Desert Storm. Desert Shield. Desert Shield.
Desert Shield. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Before we get comments, should he have value? Yeah, I mean,
should he?
One of the all-time. Well, I don't even think his autographs carry a ton of value today. But if you read the stories out of San Francisco, he has quietly ingratiated himself. Is that the right word? To San Franciscans. Did I just make up a
you took a real leap from back-to-back words there.
Thank you. Well, that's a tough one. He joined the cycling community, rides his bike around with other cyclists around San Francisco, takes pictures with them. They love him.
Can all the cyclists out there please not at me? I don't really give a if Barry Bonds is cycling.
Throw a comment in if you've ridden your bike with Barry Bonds.
The only thing he was cycling was
good one.
Yeah. And there's that to me, there's your value.
Yeah, he's the Lance Armstrong of baseball.
And the shame of it is, like you said earlier, had all the talent in the world, like A-Rod. Beginning of his career for years, best player in the game.
First half of his career, you break his career in two. Pre-steroids, Hall of Famer. Post-steroids, steroids.
Killed all the value. So what are our lessons here? Are power hitters overrated in our minds for value?
Are they overrated?
In our minds.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the era. It depends on where they played. But I don't. Let's ask the viewers. What do you guys think? Are power hitters overrated, underrated, properly rated in the hobby?
I like that. I'll let Mike take us out.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Let us know in comments what you think. It is Hobby Think Tank. I want to make sure I get that right because there's so many hobby shows that I always mix them up. Appreciate you guys watching. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. We do this every week, and it's usually shorter than this.
Good night.
See ya.